Hey, this is David Beck of BreezeFlippers. I didn't have a subject today to talk about until I got some mail at my P.O. box earlier. I got something in there that I was expecting, waiting for. Actually, I'm waiting for several of these, and it came to me broken. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and about how it was handled by the seller, which is a good outcome. And we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about what sold for me this week, and maybe give you a little insight and update on some of the stuff that we've been doing on Dibdit as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so to not bury the lead, I'm going to show you real quick what happened, and we're going to talk a few minutes about this. But I received this comic today. It's not a very expensive comic, and again, I've been combing eBay for auctions that are very low bidders or no bidders that are very low dollars, and I've been trying to buy up some low value comics that are a little bit more value. So this is a giant size Defenders number 3. It is, a key, I believe. It's the first appearance of I can't even hardly read it, of Korvac. And then it also has a Daredevil and Grandmaster appearance in it. So it's a 6.5, not perfect, right? So a 6.5, fair market value somewhere around between 35 and 40 bucks. And I picked it up for 29 with shipping and everything, okay? But if it was to actually get cleaned and pressed, and maybe a little better if it was up higher, a 9.8 sold for $1,400. Now, this can never be a 9.8. I think with a little work, 7.5, maybe an 8. But it would take somebody that knew what they were doing, so I'd have to send it to the Palm Beach presser. But it may happen because now he sent it to me, and I didn't keep the envelope in here, but I gotta tell you, this is how you don't send these. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Well, we'll talk about it now. Just going to let you know. So this was in a poly bag, not a padded poly bag, a poly bag. It had a padded poly bag around this part of it inside of the poly bag. All right. As soon as I got this thing, I looked at it, and I was in the post-op P.O. box, and I was looking at it, and I was like, there's no way that this arrived undamaged. Just looking at it, there's nothing wrong with the package, but just knowing how it was shipped, you don't do this way. And as soon as I opened it up in the car. I was like, I knew it as soon as I saw it. It is a crack. It's cracked all the way down. So lesson learned. I was very nice to the seller. I will tell you that. I just said, hey man, just let you know. I sent him pictures. I kind of expected this as soon as I opened it. It was in a poly bag. This was going to be the result. And I go, it's cracked. It's absolutely useless. And I said, it will cost, it's at least $20 to get it, for me to get it reslabbed, right? And then you got shipping and everything else. You got to take it out of the slab, which you could damage it more. So at this point, I mean, I'm out the $29. So anyway, I sent it to him, just told him that. And he apologized and said he'll make it right, and he refunded the entire amount. Now, I thought that would stand up. I'm going to end up keeping it. So really, right now, it's not worth that. It's worth about 15 bucks if I take it out of the slab. So, but lesson learned. I did send him a nice email and said, I'm not going to leave you a bad review because listen, okay, it's all about learning. The guys had 8 sales. All right, and maybe this is a message to everybody out there. We don't have to jump on somebody right away and just beat them up. He's had 8 sales. I just sent him an email and said, look, I'm just going to give you some unsolicited advice. Okay, I've been selling a lot of these. I've shipped them all over the world. At a minimum, you got to wrap them in cardboard. At a minimum. I mean, I do more than that, but at a minimum, put cardboard around it and put it in at least a padded poly mailer with cardboard. I told him, I said, Gemini mailers are relatively inexpensive if you buy a lot of them. If you're going to sell comics, you might as well invest in Gemini mailers. They're the best way, in my opinion. You may have other opinions. I've seen a lot of people ship. Listen, I have bought so many off of eBay, off of Dibdit, off just about everywhere. I've even, off of Whatnot, everywhere else. The sellers that send them in Gemini, I just know they sell a lot of comics, but I have received them with between two pieces of cardboard in a poly mailer in the past. So raw comics, you can get away with it. You can get away with it sometimes, but honestly, you're asking for trouble, because all it takes is one good hit and you're going to ding a corner, unless you've got that thing tied down. Now, I did figure out a way to ship the Playboy magazines using a heavy piece of cardboard, but I tape the corners, I tape each corner, I tape the sides, and that thing won't move, and it goes inside of a padded, very nice padded mailer. So the heavy piece of cardboard and everything, so far, knock on wood, I haven't had any problems. So, but these, you gotta wrap them, guys. Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool. Yeah, you know the old saying. Wrap these things with cardboard. Oh my gosh, the cardboard mailer that you get from Gemini, it's perfect for this. They fit right inside there. They close up, and then you put that in a number 7 envelope, in a padded envelope. I've sent them all over the world, and you know, I've had no problems with it. Now, if you have more than one, you can actually put several in one and then stack it in a box. It's just a lot easier. You know, if I'm doing 3 or 4 at a time and I'm shipping those out, then I would just put a lot of, you know, bubble wrap and everything around it. I mean, they're solid. You just don't want anything to press on them. And these aren't indestructible. I don't know if anybody thinks that. So anyway, so the guy made it right. I gave him a little lesson. I'm not going to leave him negative feedback, guys. I mean, what good does it do? What am I going to ruin his right off the bat, his little reputation for, you know, he's got 8 sales. And if you don't know, you don't know, right? Which kind of leads me to one of the topics I was going to talk about today. You know, I don't know who you watch on YouTube, but I know that when I started out, now, like I said, I've been on eBay since, you can look on my account, October 1997. I was actually on eBay when it was called Auction Web. And I did sell back then. I sold, you know, a little bit here and there. You used to have to send off, when you sent something off, you know, you wait for you get a money order, or you get cash in the mail. Well, we always got cash in the mail. You get cash in the mail, you send your stuff off. You were very trusting. If you bought something, you did the same thing. You sent them cash or a money order. You crossed your fingers and hoped that it would get there and it would come back. Those are the old days, okay? Then they got PayPal. I remember all that. I mean, I always sold in there. I've always sold all the way through, but I didn't really start selling until 2021, I guess, right? So I really started about the first part of 2021 and got serious about it. And that's when I started all this, because originally the whole plan was we were selling a bunch of stuff to make money to start selling on Amazon. And we figured out we didn't really want to sell on Amazon. We really actually enjoyed selling on eBay. So that being said, you know, I had to figure out what I was doing. And one of the things I started doing is going on YouTube. I mean, this is a great place to go learn. You can find people you like. Maybe it's not me, but maybe it's other people. But, you know, I found Kevin Brown, the Commonwealth Picker. I found ADH Dave, who honestly makes a big spiel about him not being a great reseller, but honestly, he's a really good reseller. You know, he just makes a few errors here and there. Teaches you what not to do. So, you know, and I mean, those guys, I found them on the Trash to Cash. I watched, I mean, there's a lot of different ones that I have watched and learned from out there. And one of these days I'll put a definitive list out there to show you guys, but I mean, I just devoured this information because I wanted to know how to ship. How did they ship? I shipped the first few things that we did. We actually had a couple things that did get broke. And I was like, I learned my lesson, okay? But I also went back and tried to watch all of these different people to learn what to do. And I'm going to encourage you, if you're new at reselling or thinking about reselling, just go out there and find these guys. Find some of them that are, you know, go look for the Commonwealth Picker and then start looking for all the other ones. As soon as you start looking on YouTube, YouTube's algorithm will pick up that you want to see more reseller content, and it's going to show it to you. So go out there and do that. I truly and highly encourage you to do so, and learn how to do that. And if you want to sell comic books or sell comics or graded comics or anything like that, go follow some of those guys. There's a million videos out there on how to ship a comic, and they're going to tell you all different ways. You're going to see the ones that tell you to ship with the Gemini. You're going to see the ones that show you how they sandwich 2 things together between cardboard and they do all this. Hey, listen, if it works and you don't have any problems with it, that's great. If I was shipping out a $3 comic, I may think about putting it between 2 pieces of cardboard and taping that down. And when I say tape, folks, masking tape. Don't ever use, don't use Scotch tape. Please don't use Scotch tape. Masking tape, painter's tape, just basically what it is. And that's because it peels off of everything and it makes it easy. So anyway, so that's my little spiel today. And you know, I'm not out $29. I have to decide what I'm going to do with it. So I can't sell it. I mean, it is a cool looking comic, and I do have 4 more coming that I picked up that are the sub $30. So, and they do go for a little higher on fair market value. So I've been hitting a few of those and kind of winning on some, but you know, I just hope that they didn't send them in poly bags too, because I don't want to go through this several times. So anyway, if you ship comics, make sure you ship them safely. If you buy a comic from me, it will get there safely, because I take pride in what I do. So, and I don't want, you know, when I have a comic, I love all my comics, right? I love the ones we have. I look through them and they're great. I want you to receive it the same way that I have it, so that you can appreciate it as well. So, and I think that's what everybody's attitude should be. So anyway, that's my little spiel today, and that little about, you know, go out there and find the people that are doing what you want to do. And you know, they say the best thing you always do is imitate then innovate, right? That's what you want to do. You want to go out and do what they do, and then do it your way, and then you innovate and do it your way. So that's what I learned. And I don't do things exactly the same way as everybody, but I found a system that works for me. So, and you know, again, you ever want to know what that system is, or some of those, or what I do, just ask. I've been loving the comments, guys, that I've been getting in here. So I'm gonna talk about one comment that I did get, and and I got to be honest with you, it opened my eyes. It made me think. I was like, this is he's absolutely right. This guy had said something about last week when I talked about my booth. Earlier this week when I put that video out, I said I was thinking about getting rid of my booth, and I'm still thinking about it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like changed my mind, but it did get me to think. So he did say, this guy, and I'll say his name is Brian, and he said, I use my booth as a storage unit that pays me every month. I sell a lot of breakables, porcelain, Pyrex, depression glass, and rather than pay to keep it at a storage unit, it goes in the booth. He sells about 1/3 of it instead on eBay, which is fine. And he got the booth in March 22, and he's moved up 3 times. Moved up sizes in 3 times. He's never made less than $200 after rent. He buys big lots of costume jewelry for 17, 18 cents a piece, and he sells at the booth for 46 bucks. Stuff flies out of there. So he says he spends 1 morning a week restocking, cleaning, and merchandising, and he's really happy with it. I love that kind of, I just told him, I said, that's actually brilliant. Use it instead of a storage unit. And it got us to thinking about it, and Sherry and I have been talking about it. Mrs. BreezeFlippers, and we kind of started thinking about it. We're like, well, what if we pulled out one of the comic tables? Because right now we've got all the comics across 2 tables, right? And they're all up top. So what if we pulled out one of the tables and moved it down, and then put the comics on top, and then put them down below? Because honestly, a comic person that wants to look at comics is going to bend over and look at the comics. It's not that bad. And then we took the other part of that booth and then started putting some more stuff in it. So maybe put another shelf or 2, and then had some more items in there. It's not a bad idea to try some different things. So, you know, we walk around that vendor mall all the time and we take a look at stuff, and we're like, you know, what's selling? And we see stuff that's going out of there. I watch people cashing out on stuff. They're buying frames. They're buying glassware. It's just all these different things. And I'm thinking, okay, I have mostly pop culture stuff in mind, which is cool. And it makes our booth look really cool. And we do sell some stuff every month, but there's a lot of people that sell pop figures. There's a lot of people that sell, you know, puzzles and games and all that stuff. There's no one that sells comics in there yet, but maybe it's time to you know, diversify a little bit. Before I throw in the towel and quit, we're going to try something different. We're going to see what we do. I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know. I'll put some pictures up and show you what it ends up looking like. And we're gonna see where it goes. It's just something to try. It's worth the try, right? Because like I said, I mean, we do make some money off of it, but you know, I got to figure out a way to make better money a little quicker and turn more things over, and you know, get that value up there. Because again, everything that you do, you have to pay $110 every month. So you have to factor that into the cost of your items. So if I'm buying items for pennies, makes a lot of sense. If I'm buying items for dollars, got to look at that and see where it goes best. So anyway, that's what's going on. Let's talk about real quick what sold so far this week. Not a lot of great stuff, but some cool stuff. I'm going to pop it up on the screen because these have already shipped out. The first thing that we sold was a Cal Ripken Jr. Bobbers Orioles MLB figure, 1999 Premier. It's new and sealed. It's a bobblehead. It was kind of cool. Anyway, I picked it up for $2 at a garage sale. I think I picked up a whole bunch of them, so it was around $2. And I sold it for $15, and that went out with free shipping. So not a great profit, but it doesn't sell that well, and I was kind of shocked that it actually went that quick. But I'm happy with it, so I'm good. So it didn't cost but about $5 to ship, a little over $5 because it was going here in Florida. The next thing that sold was a set of 4 comics. They are NASA Stone Age Warriors, Lot 4 Dell Comics, the number 401, 406, 409, and 412. So they weren't in sequence, but these are 1964, 1965 era comics, and they're all in pretty good shape. Very good to find. Ended up getting $29.99 for that, and that was, of course, free shipping. I've been doing comics on free shipping. So like I said, these aren't highly sought after or very expensive comics, but being that they are vintage and they are, kind of unique, there's always a buyer out there. Somebody's collecting NASA, and they got some. So next thing it sold, and the last thing that sold so far, was a Climber Manual 2011 to 2017 Harley Softail FXS FLS service repair specs book. So I was at an estate sale, and we picked this up for, let's see, it was $5, so we got it for $2.50. It was on a half price day. It had sat there. This guy had a ton of Harley Davidson parts and equipment and all kinds of stuff there. I went through every piece that he had and looked it up. Some of it he was still wanting quite a bit for. So I was just like, I'm just not going to pull the trigger on it because I don't know enough about Harley like Davidson parts to make a buy on it, to jump on it. So even you looking them up, they were like, slow sell through rate. But then I saw this book and I was like, whoa, I got to grab this book, because honestly, if you find those manuals, most of them do pretty good. So this one actually sold for $34.99, and it went out with free shipping, but it is a medium mail ship. So I think it was just a little over $5. This is a big book. I mean, thick, but I think it just maybe a little over $5, just under $6. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't that much to ship. So anyway, I turned $2.50 into at least $25 worth of profit. So I'll take a 10x anytime. So that was what sold. I did have a cancellation. I told you guys about the Amazon Basics and Xbox One or Rock Candy controllers that I had sold over the weekend. That I took an offer. Guy said he wanted to cancel it. So I was like, he literally had a zero. He had no feedback. So it was honestly his first buy, apparently. So anyway, he canceled it. I was happy. It went back out, so it'll get relisted. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with what sales were. Now, I will tell you that we've had a couple auctions this week on Dibdit. And again, I'm going to talk about Dibdit every once in a while because I really am enjoying the auctions. Now, I had a great comic book raid train on Monday. That was fun. And we had a lot of good people in there. Sold several comics. Did pretty good. I think it was a little over, time it was all said and done with shipping and everything, it was over $100. And that's pretty good for comics, let's be honest with you, because you're selling them for $2, $3, $4, or $5 each. I'm not going to be upset about that. And then Tuesday night, last night, I had a card auction. Not as good. All right, listen, I'm still getting established in cards, and dibditcards.com is still getting established. Let's be honest. It's they've got a lot of people in there. They've got great people pushing it, but I've got to get people to know what I have. I have a lot of cool Lady Death cards, a lot of cool Marvel cards. I just have a lot of different, kind of an eclectic mix. I do have some sports cards. It's just no one was hitting on it last night. So I did sell a few sports cards. I did sell some Lady Death. I sold some other ones, but I'm just not there yet. We'll get there. I'm not worried about it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna reach out to one of the 3 guys from the No Bangers podcast, and I'm gonna see if I can co-host with one of them one night and just kind of start to get my name out there, because that's what I've done with comics. And honestly, it's kind of cool because I'm starting to get known for comics. So that's what you want on any platform, right? So they know when I come up on comics, I'm going to put out some decent comics. Now, I put out some bangers, so to speak, and I also put out some ones that people just don't like. So it just depends on who's in there, and it's crazy because I'll put out one week and nobody will want it. I'll put it out the next week and it'll bid up. So it really just depends on who's there and who's actually looking at the stuff. So, but we're going to have another one tonight. I'm actually doing it at 7 p.m. tonight. I'm doing, and you're going to see this the day after. Of course, this will post tomorrow, but it'll be on Wednesday night. But kind of look for me every Monday and Wednesday, or sometimes Tuesday and Wednesday, if you guys are interested in looking at any of the comic auctions, because I will be doing those. But I just want to show you guys real quick what it looks like to kind of start setting something up for this. And I'm going to flip the camera around, so I'm actually going to show you a behind the scene look. So you put all these comics in the bins down here. These are all the ones that go down there. I put everything in this bin as it sells, so you can see all the ones that were actually sold just recently, the last sale, and then all of those are going to get shipped out tonight. But that's what the Auction Central kind of looks like. So you can kind of see that it's a work in progress, and hey, it's a lot of fun. So, and this person, this right here, this girl, she is always say hi, Missy. She is always here with me, even during the auctions. You just never see her. She's a behind the scenes dog. So that's Missy. She's my Aussie. And she's like attached to me like Velcro. So anyway, so yeah, so we're gonna have another one tonight. It's gonna be fun, and we'll see how it goes. But listen, I hope I gave you guys some good advice today. I hope I didn't bore anybody too long. I love the comments. Please keep them coming. Let's hear what you guys are doing. Love to see some more, maybe who you watch. Tell me about the people that you watch. Who have you learned from? And tell me if you've ever received something like this, something you were waiting for and been that disappointed. Love to hear about those too. And like I said, I'm not beating the guy up. He's learning. And you know what? He was stand up right away, refunded the whole thing. I'm not having to send it back. I'll do something with it. I'll figure it out, whether I get it reslabbed or whatever. But, lesson learned for him, and hopefully lesson learned for anybody out there that wants to learn how to ship comics. So I hope you guys are doing great. I hope your weekend is successful. Mine's going to be very busy again because we've got some other stuff we got to get done, and it's just going to be a long weekend again, and back to work next week. So anyway, I'm David Beckham, BreezeFlippers. We'll see ya.